Good evening. I'm starting 1 minute early, and I am an on-time kind of person, so I'm actually working ahead of schedule. Welcome to the Teacher of the Year celebration and the Ponca City Public Schools 2023 Teacher of the Year nomination and presentation. As we begin tonight's ceremony, I would like to welcome our candidates, our site nominees, your family members, our principals, your colleagues, our directors. I even see some former students in the house and some of our current students here. We also have some board members with us tonight, and I would like to introduce them to you. In attendance, we have our board president, Ms. Nancy Zimmershed. Our board vice president, Ms. Judy True. Board member, Ms. Anna Rowland. Board member, Mr. Don Newsom. And not present tonight is Mr. Robin Riley, but he's here in spirit. He's with our soccer teams tonight. So I just want to tell you that these board members are your greatest advocates. They want to support you so that you can support our kids effectively. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what they've done that you know. They have approved a calendar that has reduced the contract, not only to be competitive with other schools around us, but to give you that rest and rejuvenation and the time to relax so that you can be the personal best for our students. They have also, and this is going to make a huge impact for you, approved a significant pay raise for our support employees. And guys, you know, those support employees support you so you can impart your expertise so that our students can be successful. And I'm going to have to tell you, our support employees in the past have been attracted to our benefits because they do have their insurance paid and there are some retirement benefits, and they're attracted to our calendar because it matches the calendar that their children are in school. But the bottom line is they need a livable wage so they can pay their expenses, live day to day. And that takes them to professions without benefits, but that pays a higher salary. And we can't afford to lose them. So we are going to be one of the top paid support staff districts in the state and for sure this area. So that I know that's going to make a big difference for you and our support employees. They also approved a $1,000 stipend, which you know, for every employee in the district working in a full-time position. So that means if you were a principal, a teacher assistant, a 2-hour crossing guard, you got a $1,000 stipend. And this was just a small gesture. They know what you've been through these last few years. And guys, I say all that to get to the point of tonight's remarks. And the point of tonight's remarks are about those human connections. But first, I've got a little story for you. Let's go back to that stipend. Passing out those stipends was, it's one of the most rewarding days of my life. After a crossing guard received her stipend, and I'm going to protect her identity and call her Mary. Mary called me on my cell phone because you know everybody has my number and that's the way I want it. She said, Miss Shelby, are you sure that I was supposed to get a $1,000 stipend? And I said, I am positive you were supposed to get a $1,000 stipend. And she said, I shouldn't because I'm not as important as everyone else. Guys, that broke my heart. I said, Mary, what do you mean you're not as important as everybody else? And she said, I'm just a crossing guard. And I said, it takes all of us. We work together. We're cogs in a wheel to do the best that we can for our students. It takes every single one of us. You are just as important as everyone else. You are just as important as the superintendent. And she said, oh, Miss Shelley, I'm not as important as you. And I said, yes, you are, and don't you ever forget it. And she cried. And she cried some more. And through her sobs, she said, I love Team PCPS, and I have never felt more appreciated in my life. Guys, everybody has to feel valued. And that brings me to tonight's remarks. Through the weekly emails, in our administrative councils, in your staff meetings, you know that we have been focusing on ways to rebuild human connections with our students, with each other, after distancing and isolation for 3 school years. We've also been reflecting about what is inviting and what is disinviting about our district, about our schools, about ourselves. It also helps build those human connections, and not just with students and parents, but with each other. I'll tell you, some of these reflections on what's disinviting about our school have been hard to hear. But if we ever get to that point that we don't think we need to continue and grow and improve, we are going to stall. We'll come to a screeching halt. We have a tough job ahead, and I realize the pandemic has left our students with academic gaps. But every teacher in this room knows that no student will learn until we have a positive relationship with them. Though very useful, and it has the right time and place in education, technology is not the future of personalized learning. Human connections and attention are. Distance learning may not have been a perfect laboratory experiment, but it certainly showed that students and teachers need human contact, caring, and connection. Greeting students by name each day, playing games on whiteboards and markers, having those student-teacher discussions, be sitting at a laptop and being guided by programs every single day. Research is clear that you cannot get to Bloom's without going through Maslow. Educators who trust this research understand the importance of providing emotional deposits to kids and creating an environment of emotional safety. Putting kids before content is the first step to making major strides toward building positive human connections. Now, the need for human connections, guys, is not just for students, it's universal. And that means our teachers and staff are not exempt. School employees need a human connection as well, or they will be stalled in their efforts to bring their best to the classroom every day. Sadly and unfortunately, the events of the past 3 years have badly shaken the connection between some students, families, and school staff members. Our first duty must be to start rebuilding these connections. If we don't, we're all going to experience the fallout. If we're going to do damage control and avert the worst of the staffing crisis now hitting everyone nationwide, we need to uncover where human connections have been compromised and commit to rebuilding them. Let's set the example for everyone else to follow. Okay, I'm going to share really quickly 3 powerful ways to strengthen connections and trust with students, parents, and with each other. Number 1, use their names. Dale Carnegie said, a person's name is the sweetest sound. Learning and using kids' names as quickly as possible sends that clear message that each student is more than a body at a desk. The same holds true with parents and colleagues. Someone's name represents them as a unique individual, and hearing another use it regularly is a sign of respect and a simple yet powerful connection strategy. Number 2, make those emotional deposits. Guys, you know these can take on many forms, anywhere from a high five to a compliment to a personal note, or simply just having a meaningful conversation. You know this. Most of our kids' emotional accounts are in the red. And if we want academic growth, we have to first fuel emotional growth. These intentional actions speak volumes to a child and emphasize that she or he is seen, heard, and validated. The same holds true with parents, with colleagues, and for you. Finally, be a great CEO, Chief Emotional Officer. The mood and the climate of the room starts with the teacher. Kids need and want to trust the consistency of the leader. Our students already have so much inconsistency in their lives, and creating stability inside the classroom can make all the difference. Giving them the gift of consistency in moods and energy will help increase emotional safety and the desire to engage. You all need the same thing. You need consistency in your leaders. Set the climate with your parents too. Many times our parents just want to be heard. You might not have the magic to solve the problem, but they just want to be heard. You guys know, walk into any classroom with great human connections and you will feel the energy, the enthusiasm, and the engagement. You will see kids who are focused, who are attentive, who are asking questions, who are glad to be there, who are involved in the learning process and don't even know it. There will be fewer discipline issues, and kids will show they're willing to risk trying because there is a class community that is supported and a teacher that is connected with their heart. This evening, we've come together to honor these teachers before us who represent the essence of innately building these human connections with the heart, which leads to nothing but greatness in the classroom. I can't wait for you to meet the candidates, but first, I want you to hear from our current Teacher of the Year, Mr. Leaming. Will you please come welcome Ms. Tracy Mckinnon.
Thank you, Shelley, and thanks for everyone being here tonight. It's a true honor to be able to have this opportunity to share this moment with some outstanding professionals that we get to work with day in and day out. So I had never officially met Tracy, and I thought in true Adam fashion that I would pop in this week and walk in and introduce myself and say, you know, I have the honor to introduce you at tonight's banquet, and that is there anything you want me to share? But here's what happened when I started walking towards the room. And the administrators in the room, I'm sure you're going to recognize this, but when you walk down that hallway and you walk to that classroom and you know a teacher is just doing that teaching, you get that feeling. For some people, that hair raises on the back of your neck. That doesn't happen for me. I get kind of the goosebumps. But man, as I walked down that hallway, I knew I was walking to a room where some excellent teaching was happening. She had those second graders, I think it was a civics lesson on elections or social studies. And my goodness, those kids, she had them hooked. I mean, they were just engaged. It was incredible. And it's teachers and professionals like her that really drive what we do home each day in a positive manner. So I get to introduce you, Tracy. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Tracy. She's always been a Wildcat. Born and raised in Ponca City, attending Roosevelt Elementary. Wow, Dave, there you go. We got an alumni there for that. Then went to East Junior High and graduated from Poe High in 1995. So then she went on to further her education at Northwestern Oklahoma State University, a fellow Ranger, ride. That's awesome. Graduated in 1999 with a Bachelor's of Science in Education and with an endorsement in early childhood education. That's when she started her teaching career at Blackwell, but that was lasted a very short amount of time because Jean Gaitan snatched her up and brought her to Union Elementary, and she's been at Union ever since. She's currently in her 22nd year of teaching. She's taught 6th grade, 5th grade, 4th grade, and now 2nd grade. And when asked about what she does, she says she loves what she does, and she loves doing it with the people she gets to. So please join me in showing appreciation and welcoming Ponca City's 2021 Teacher of the Year, Tracy Mckinnon.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leeming. I told my husband this morning, I didn't know what was worse, knowing you had to speak or wondering if there was a slight chance you might have to speak. So we'll see what happens after this. A year ago, I stood up here feeling on top of the world. I received the biggest award I had ever received, and I was completely overjoyed. I took a moment and I thought, wow, maybe I'm not so bad at this. I kept that attitude throughout the summer, anticipating the new school year. It was going to be an amazing year because it looked like things were going to be somewhat returning to normal. I stood in my classroom on that first day of school, feeling like a poster teacher for Pinterest and Teachers Pay Teachers. I knew this was going to be a challenging year, but I was going to get these kids on the right track academically. This would be their first real full year of school without quarantine interruptions. I knew it would be hard work, but I was ready. 23 pairs of little eyes came into my room that morning, ready to see what this year would bring and what I would bring. We were excited, we were full of energy, and we were going to show great gains. The second week of school, I heard the words no teacher wants to hear. Your class is going on distance learning. I will be honest, a little bit of my excitement faded away. However, we did make it through that quarantine, and luckily, that was our only whole class quarantine. To say it has been smooth sailing would not be accurate. It was hard. These students were behind both academically and socially. It was going to be a challenge. My first goal I made was to at least be able to keep them in their seats for about 5 minutes. If I could do that by Christmas, I was going to feel good about myself. Well, as goals go, you push to reach them, but if you don't, you regroup and you try again by setting a new goal. We made it to Christmas and I thought, okay, good time for a break. Good time for me to relax, recoup, and change some things with my management. We left, I hugged my kids and told them to rest up because we would be hitting it hard again come January. December 21st, I got a call from my principal telling me more news that a teacher never wants to hear. One of my students had passed away unexpectedly. I remember everything about that phone call that day and everything that was going through my mind. How could this happen? How am I going to help these kids through something I didn't understand myself? We came back in January, and honestly, I didn't know what that first week was going to be like. I can honestly say it was the hardest week of my teaching career to this point. I realized then it was not going to be about standards, deadlines, testing, all the things we've been working on all year. It was going to be about the mental health of these kids in my classroom. We have all been told to build relationships with kids, and I felt like I was pretty good at it. I realized it went much deeper than just talking with them every day. It was really listening to what was in their heart and how it brought up memories of the good things and also of the heartbreaking things. We became much more than just a classroom. We became a family. We held the line for each other. We helped each other get through the unimaginable. For that, this class will forever be in my heart. It was not only the kids and myself holding that line, it was also my union family. Who's back there? They were not only there for me, but also for the kids, who some of them had taught before. It was then that I realized just how important those words "hold that line" really were. As a former cheerleader and a wife of a defensive football coach, hold that line meant a whole different thing. As a teacher, it meant to step up, to help another person when they needed it. It meant carrying a little more weight when it was too much for another to bear. I feel that in Ponca City, we do that. Our administration has had our backs and has held the line for all of us. Our school families have held the line for us. Our families have held the line for us. It is an awesome feeling to know there are so many people watching out for your best interest and who genuinely care about your well-being. To say this year was easy is completely false. In fact, it was probably the hardest year mentally, physically, and emotionally for me so far. Teaching is not for the weak of heart. It is hard. It is very hard. And I often think of one of my favorite lines from a movie, and especially when teachers are leaving and they say it just got to be too hard. In the movie A League of Their Own, Gina Davis tells Tom Hanks that she's leaving because it just got too hard. He tells her it's supposed to be hard. If it was easy, everyone would do it. It's the hard that makes it great. All of you here tonight have pushed through that hard. And I thank you, and I'm sure your students thank you too. In closing, I want to ask you to be that teacher that holds the line for your students, for your co-teachers, for your administrators. Be the one to put a smile on their face. Be the one to tell a corny joke to make them laugh. Be the one to sit with them and cry when that's what they need. Be present and know it's not always about the test scores and the academics. It's about being that light in a child's life. I thank you and good night.
Thank you, Tracy, for those words. And I think now Chris has prepared us a nice presentation to get us into the next phase of our program.
Okay, ready? Hit it.
Hey, big, red, and white, let's fight! Hey, big, red, and white, let's fight! Welcome to the 2023 Teacher of the Year.
Let's give it up for Washington's PreK teacher, Jenna Chambers.
Why don't we put it with the animals?
Because it's not animals.
Well, it is an animal, but look at it. It's hard to see. But look at it. Why wouldn't we put it with the animals? Why are we putting it with the food?
Because it's meat.
Wait, because it's meat, yes, but what else, Emily?
Eat turkey. Turkey. That's like turkey. Just like
No, it's a chicken.
chicken for eating.
Chicken for eating, yes, but can you eat something that's alive?
No.
No, this has been cooked. Can you eat this now that it's cooked?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's.
Let's give it up for Garfield's instructional coach, Glowacki.
Where did they put the cupcakes?
On the window.
Can you think of what could happen?
They can fall
Oh
down.
no, hang on. Some of the cupcakes were gone. They were sure there had been 10. Pete said, maybe we need to count them again. They counted the cupcakes lined up straight. Now there were only 8. So if I had 10 and now I have 8, tell me we're missing.
2.
2.
Let's give it up for Liberty's 4th grade teacher, Svetlana McDaniel.
Do you have it? Yes. Now from this point, we go 3 down, 2 left. Say 3 down, 2 left. 1, 2, 3, 2 left. Put another dot. If you follow the rule, you will end up with a very beautiful parallelogram. So now I just need to connect all these dots in one connection.
Let's give it up for Roosevelt's art teacher, Mary Morse.
So if he's in a 3/4, you're not seeing him straight on, you are seeing him partial, okay? Most of the way. So what we're gonna do is we are going to come over here. I do this so much, but I always have to look. Okay, I'm gonna come down here along the side of his eyes, and I'm gonna stop. So let's do that. You could make it a little closer to his eye if you want to.
Let's give it up for Trout's 1st grade teacher, Diane Green.
My beforehand is my left hand, my afterhand is my right hand. A is the initial letter, Z is the final letter. M and N are the middle letters. And all the letters in between A and Z are medial letters. A sentence is
Someone something doing something.
a sentence has to have
Capital letter.
end with punctuation, a period, a question mark, exclamation point. All right, good job.
Let's give it up for Woodlands kindergarten teacher, Victoria Courtney.
Okay, the story we're going to be reading today in our reading series is Curious George Makes Pancakes. And let's go over the parts of the story. What do we call this? Or the book? Sorry. Cover.
Back cover. Spine. Pages.
Good job. So on our title page, what are we going to find?
Curious
George makes, which is what? Is that our title? Right. And what do you know?
Let's give it up for West Middle School's instructional coach, Valerie Huffer.
These are your definitions, okay? Does everyone know where to find all the definitions? You guys did definitions and vocabulary yesterday, correct? So you have to define keywords. And then if you see at the top, like, you have to find 5 producers. So can anyone tell me what a producer is? Do you remember? Makes its own food. So you're gonna have to look on this side You can either like color code them, like if you want to find the 5 producers and color them all pink, then that's fine. Just so
Let's give it up for West Middle School's 7th grade math teacher, Jazmin Martinez.
2 times the width times the height again. So then you will take your 3 sets and multiply the 3 sets of numbers. So you'll get 1 number here, 1 number here, and 1 number here. And you will add those 3 numbers together. So 2 times 5 times 7.
70.
70 plus 2 times 5 times 7. 70 again.
Let's give it up for East Middle School's Family and Consumer Sciences, Kim Sulivant.
Always take the elastic, pin it here because you don't want you're pulling it through. You don't want it to jerk this in through and then we have to start over. Okay, then you take another safety pin, turn your elastic like that so it doesn't rip the elastic. Put it through here. Now take this in, put it through there, push, pull, push, pull, push. Keep on just doing this until it comes out that hole, okay?
Let's give it up for Wildcat Academy's math teacher, Mark Kimbrell.
It's going to be here, your domain is going to be greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0, I should say, because if you remember right, it's equal to, because your circle is colored in, right? Where does that graph end? 9. Yeah, all the way up here at 9, right? So our x-value is going all the way across. We started here at the left, we hit that point, and we keep going until we hit the last point. And so it's going to be greater than or equal to 0, and x is also less than or equal to 9. And once again,
Let's give it up for Ponca City High School special education teacher, Bethany Fredricks.
Per shipment occur least frequently. So which one was the least? Okay, very good. All right. An author kept a log of how many pages he wrote in the past 3 days. So the page is written, and it's asking how many more pages did the author write on Tuesday than on Monday. So it's counting by 5s, right? So it's at 90, and then this one's at that. So what's the difference? Very good.
Let's give it up for Ponca City High School special education teacher, Lisa Welch.
Over time. Which country won fewer medals in 1988? Romania or Finland. There's one of them you don't even have to look at.
What?
Did you miss it?
Wait.
How can
When
you
I
miss that?
it's won more medals. And 1988. Oh,
Right, so when you have to look at it, you have to look at 1988. So this is the only column that you're looking at. Okay, so you looked at the wrong date?
Yeah.
Is that
All
right?
Let's give it up for Lincoln's first grade teacher, Sherry Webb.
Lila, yell out a number for me.
52.
52. Okay? Remember what 52 looks like. What does 52 look like? A 5 and a 2. Okay, so Jaden, how many 10s am I going to have in 52? 5. So I'm going to pull this. Okay? Make 52 on your desk because I'm going to come around and I'm going to check.
Let's hear it for Union's kindergarten teacher, Aimee Clark.
Don't say it out loud. Write your number. Team captains, when you're ready, stand up and say showdown.
7.
Just write the numeral, Hannah. Write the number instead of the tallies.
Oh, I did
Like this. It's okay. I want you guys just to write the number for me because that will be quicker. Are you guys ready? Stand up and say showdown. Good. Look like, and we're just gonna do it like this.
7.
All right, Adrian, let's start with your table. Show me your numbers. What do you guys have?
Let's give it up for Ponca City High School's language arts teacher, Leanne Smith-Parr.
Is there something you would be willing to share?
Love to me is a strong feeling you have for someone or something.
Okay. Strong feeling. For someone or something. Okay. Who else?
I'd say pretty much the same thing, like a strong feeling of caring or something good for someone.
So it's caring or a positive.
Congratulations to all the nominees.
If you are a nominee, it's time for you to come take your place in line. Just please do so in the order that's in the program. While they're taking their places, I'm Jennifer Diane. I'm the Executive Director of Human Resources, and I have the pleasure this evening of introducing our nominees. And I also get to do a fun part and share some quotes from their students. All right, we'll get started. Our first nominee is Miss Glowacki. She's the instructional coach at Garfield Elementary. Annabella told us, I love Mrs. Glowacki because she helps me stay calm and gives me a timeout when I need it. According to Adriel, she says, I love Mrs. Glowacki because she is nice. And Macy said, Mrs. Glowacki smiles at everyone in the morning. She gives her students hugs and she is funny and kind. Miss Laura Glowacki, instructional coach at Garfield Elementary. Our next nominee is Miss Svetlana McDaniel, 4th grade teacher at Liberty Elementary. Bailey expressed, Mrs. McDaniel is the best teacher because she works so hard to teach us how to have a good brain, but the most important thing about Mrs. McDaniel is that she never gives up on us. If I was her, I could not be her handling all of us, but she has the courage to do it. So that's why I'm glad I'm in her class, because we all know that she is special in herself. April told us, Mrs. McDaniel is my favorite teacher because she got me better at math and reading and made me feel good about myself. And when I get stuck on something, she helps me and then I understand. And she treats all of us like we are family. She is one of the kindest teachers I've ever met in my whole life. She is like a superhero teacher. Mrs. Svetlana McDaniel, 4th grade, Liberty Elementary. Our next nominee is Miss Mary Morse, art at Roosevelt Elementary. According to Kennedy, she says, I like art because we get to do fun stuff. Mrs. Morse is fun because she really likes flamingos, and I do too. She's really creative. Katie told us, I really like to paint. Her room is cool, and she lets me make choices when I'm having a hard day. And Averill said, Mrs. Morse is probably one of the best art teachers. I love her because she lets us draw pretty things and themes like Valentine's Day and Christmas. Art is my favorite class because we get to be different every day. Mrs. Mary Morse, art, Roosevelt Elementary. Our next nominee is Miss Diane Green, 1st grade at Trout Elementary. Michaela said, Mrs. Green makes us laugh. I love her. And Emerson stated, she reads us the best books. Johnny said, Mrs. Green helps me when I don't know a word. That's why I'm a good reader. Mrs. Diane Green, 1st grade, Trout Elementary. Our next nominee is Mrs. Victoria Courtney, kindergarten at Woodlands Elementary. Cadence told us, Mrs. Courtney is a great teacher because she lets us pick where we want to sit. Tucker said, Mrs. Courtney is great because she lets us do 3 recesses. And according to Landon, Miss Courtney is a great teacher because she always takes us to lunch and she picks us up when we raise, and she picks on us when we raise our hand when we need something. Mrs. Victoria Courtney, kindergarten. Our next nominee is Miss Jenna Chambers, pre-kindergarten at Washington Elementary. Rebecca said, I like her. She always gives us snacks. She makes sure we are healthy. And according to Chloe, she is a good boss. She's good at testing everybody, and she's a good helper at getting in line. Emily expressed, when someone is mean, Mrs. Chambers puts them in timeout. My teacher is my favorite teacher in the whole entire wide world, and I love Mrs. Chambers. And Kaden told us she is kind. She lets us play. She lets us go to lunch. She tells us don't talk. She lets us sing the ABCs, and sometimes it's cold, and Mrs. Chambers lets us play inside. Miss Jenna Chambers, PreK at Washington. Our next nominee is Miss Valerie Huffer, Instructional Coach at West Middle School. According to Jamie, Miss Huffer is pretty and smart. She is nice to students and helps them out. She's a great teacher and the best person in the whole wide world. And Aaron said, Miss Huffer is nice to the students and treats them fairly. She cares about all the students, and when I was in her reading class last year, she gave me my favorite Jolly Rancher candy. It was a green apple. Miss Valerie Huffer, Instructional Coach, West Middle School. Our next nominee is Jazmin Martinez, 7th grade math at West Middle School. AJ told us, I like Ms. Martinez because she is nice. She is a really good teacher because she is patient with me in class. She helps us when we don't understand stuff, and she is always there if you need to talk. Gentry said, Mrs. Martinez is one of my favorite teachers I've ever had. She can be consistent for me to do my work and keeps me on top of it. She is also super funny and nice, even when I don't understand an assignment or I forget how to do certain things. She takes her time with me and teaches me how to do it, even if it's not very important. She still makes sure that I learn it. Jazmin Martinez, 7th grade math. Our next nominee is Miss Kim Sulivant, Family and Consumer Science at East Middle School. Amram said, Mrs. Sullivan is kind and funny. What I like about facts is that we get to cook and have fun while learning at the same time. Addison expressed, she's probably one of the best teachers I've had in my life. She's strict, but that's why she's my favorite, because she keeps me both motivated and on task. I feel like she gets me. Miss Kim Sullivan, Family and Consumer Science, East Middle School. Our next nominee is Mr. Mark Kimbrell, Math at Wildcat Academy. JoJo stated, Coach Kimbrell is one, if not my favorite teacher here. He is what brings me to school. He is always helping the kids and overall a good teacher. He is making jokes all the time, which sometimes make me laugh. He really brightens up my day because every day is never a bland day with him. Adriana said, he will help you with math even if he has no idea what the lesson is talking about. And according to Melody, Coach Kimbrell is one of the funniest teachers. He's full of personality. He's good at keeping this place fun while also making sure we do our work. He is very helpful when you need it. He's also like a teddy bear. Mr. Mark Kimbrell, Math at Wildcat Academy. Our next nominee is Ms. Bethany Fredricks, Special Education Studies. Michael said, Mrs. Fredricks is helpful and kind. When I ask her for help, she drops everything and helps. Alyssa tells us, Mrs. Fredricks is amazing. She always tries to help when she can and is very respectful to her students. Everyone here loves her. And Jill added, Mrs. Fredricks is a great teacher. She has helped me in every way she can. She only wants the best for her students, and I love that about her. She will always be one of my favorite teachers. Ms. Bethany Fredricks, Special Education, Ponca. Our next nominee Ashley, Mrs. Welch is a great teacher. She helps me with my work when I need it. She's a good listener when I have a bad day. She is sweet, kind, and loving. She is also fun to joke with. She is one of the best teachers I've ever had. Jacob said, Mrs. Welch is very kind. She is not rude to her students. And Crystal expressed, Mrs. Welch is the reason I understand math now. Her room is a safe place for me. She also is willing to help me with other classwork that I have. Miss Lisa Welch, Special Education. Our first finalist is Miss Aimee Clark, kindergarten teacher. Adrian stated she likes sentences that have a period at the end. And she is pretty. Jacob said she makes me take tests and she plays games with me. And Cody added, I love her so much. Miss Aimee Clark, kindergarten. Our next finalist is Miss Leanne Smith-Parr, language arts. Jenna said, I love how Mrs. Parr explains the literature we are reading in class. She creates a friendly and non-judgmental environment where students feel free to ask questions and contribute to the class discussion. Allison tells us, I appreciate how Mrs. Parr cares about her students. It is obvious she wants all of us to be successful. She knows she cares for us by showing up and supporting students at our events. She does not allow us to do mediocre work. She expects our best work and pushes us to do it. She also makes learning and class discussions fun. Aubrey expressed, I've known Mrs. Parr and her family for a while, and I love being able to learn from someone who enjoys what they do. Our class discussions are always super fun, and I go home thinking about them. Mrs. Parr is a caring and inspirational teacher. And Charlie stated, I love Mrs. Parr's class because she is very enthusiastic in her teaching. She always puts in extra work for her students because she cares about all of us and wants us to learn as best that we can. Miss Leanne Smith-Parr, language arts. And our final finalist, Miss Sherry Webb, first grade teacher. Mrs. Webb is a nice teacher who gives us snacks. Justice told us she is kind and special to us. Rocky added, she's good at teaching math. Lila said she's Teacher of the Year because she makes me laugh, smile, and she gives good homework. And L'Oreal stated she's the best. We want to stay with her forever. Miss Sherry Webb, first grade at Lincoln Elementary.
All right, what a night. These teachers get it. All these teachers in the room get it. Give it up for these kids. I tell you what, after Tracy's remarks, I felt like we need to break out in the fight song. And I know a couple of people in here who could lead it, but we're not going to do that right now. So thanks for holding that line. In this envelope is the name of the 2023 Teacher of the Year. I have no clue who it is. The trophy is covered up. I don't want to know who in here knows. Does anybody know? Adam, you do not know. I said, I think Terry may know. So here we go. The 2023 Ponca City Public Schools Teacher of the Year is Sherry Webb.
Whereas among the most honorable and noble profession is that of an educator of young people, a profession to which all too few are called. And whereas Sherry Webb is an excellent example of such an educator, serving as an inspiration to her students, fellow educators, and the community with her dedication and enthusiasm as a classroom teacher. And whereas the Oklahoma State Legislature hereby commends Sherry Webb as the 2023 Teacher of the Year for the Ponca City Public School District in Ponca City, Oklahoma. Congratulations.
Hey, I'm not a good speaker, but I'm speechless because every one of these teachers are awesome. I mean, you guys are rock stars, and we've had a tough couple of years, and there were times when I just, I was ready to walk away, but it was always about those kids and that they needed me and that I needed them more than they knew. So, thank you so much. It's hard to talk because I'm just a little shaky right now. So I appreciate everybody and thank you.
Congratulations tonight to Sherry Webb, to our finalists, to all of our candidates, and to our site Teachers of the Year. Thank you so much for all you do, for continuing to hold that line for our students. As we conclude tonight's celebration, I want to leave you with some very short words. It's really beyond my best dreams to serve as the leader of this district. However, in my heart and my mind, what I am is a teacher. And a teacher changes the lives of his or her students. Our students are our greatest hopes, they're our greatest dreams. That's why we are in this profession, and that's why we are here. I know it's been tough on all of us, but never lose sight of your importance in the lives of our students. You teach subjects. You don't teach subjects every day. You teach humans every day. You work with other humans every day. The parents you communicate with are humans. You are humans. Let's continue to commit to rebuilding those human connections and strive to reflect on what is inviting or disinviting about our district, our sites, ourselves, and continue to grow. Let's set the example for others to follow in a world that sometimes has a lot of ugliness and bitterness in it, especially right now. My friends, the answers are right here in this room. Be the CEO, the Chief Emotional Officer. We all have one life to live to make a difference in this world, and I have so much faith in this district and our team. Remember that the kids in front of you are a miracle. Love your Wildcats and continue to be great every day. Thank you for staying committed to Ponca City Public Schools and to the most noble profession. Better days are coming, guys. Have a wonderful evening.